Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for February 25th. Let's take a look at the U.S. Japanese yen pair. This pair continues to move higher, biases to the upside, and it did close up. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 98.62 and as low as 95.32. Now look for some resistance around 98.29 and look for some support around 96.75. Now let's switch over to the Euro USD pair. This particular pair closed down today. This pair is moving sideways and the bias is sideways. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 130.32 and potentially as low as 125.58. Now look for some resistance around 127.60. Look for some support around 126.60. Now switching to the pound US dollar. This particular pair closed down today. It is moving sideways for the most part and the bias is sideways. We are expecting this pair to move as high as 147.69 and as low as 139.68 in this particular pair. Let's switch over to the US Swiss. This pair is also moving sideways. The bias is sideways. It did close up for this session, but overall moving sideways. We are expecting this pair though to move as high as 1.1842 and as low as 1.1446. Now look for some resistance around 1.1741 and look for some support around 1.1660 in this particular pair. Now, what I'm looking for during this next session, let's take a look at the Euro USD pair. This particular pair formed a swing trade during this last session, at the close of this last session, basically looking for a buy entry at 128.57, looking for an exit at 129.40. That's potentially 83 pips if it does get there. Now our swing trade from yesterday is still on. We have not been stopped out of that, so if the market continues lower, we should grab a profit from that. And of course our pound trade, our inside bar trade came about, and we got those 60 pips we were looking for, which is always good. Now something else I'm looking at during this next session is the Euro Swiss. This particular pair formed a swing trade during this last session. We're taking the high, you draw your trend line. We have a buy entry at 149.19 that we're looking for. Looking to exit this particular trade at 149.85, and that is a 66 pip potential profit. Use a risk to reward ratio of 1-to-1 on that particular trade. Now looking at the Euro Pound, this pair also created a swing trade at the end of this session, taking our two highs there and looking for a buy entry at 0.9005 and exiting this potential trade at 0.9070. That's a potential of 65 pips of worth of profit. Use a risk to reward ratio of 1-to-1. Now, if you are a triad trader and you want to drop down to lower time frames and use Trend Finder to pinpoint these entries and exits, that would be the best way to do it. Well, that about does it for the charts today. We do have the Eurozone releasing the German CPI tomorrow at 4, I believe. You need to check that time. Consensus is that it has dropped from 0.9% down to 0.8%, which should be good news for the euro. Looking ahead, also, we have the U.S. durable goods orders for January being released at 8:30 a.m. Consensus is that it has increased from -3% to -2.5%, which would be good news for the dollar. Now, the Japanese are releasing their household spending for January. That's being released at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Consensus is that it has dropped from -4.6% down to -5.5%. Overall, this should be negative news for the Japanese yen, assuming that the numbers come out at that price. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.